So we are here with our NFL Week 7 predictions. And so to start off, last week I went 11-3. Of course, the freaking Bills had to lose on Monday Night Football when I could have went 12-2. I was like really surprised that I even did that well. But damn Bills, why did you have to lose? So we'll start off on Thursday Night Football between the Broncos and the Browns. I'm picking the Browns even though they're injured to heck. Baker Mayfield won't play. Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, along with a few other people that are really injured, they won't play. And for their defense, they haven't been playing necessarily the best right now. But I'm not a fan of the Broncos. As a Chiefs fan and just as a football fan, I don't think the Broncos are a very good football team right now. Their offense couldn't do much against the Raiders. So I think the Browns will win in probably a really sloppy game since there's going to be a lot of backups playing in this game. Now we'll get to the Sunday games. Next, we have the Panthers Giants. I'm going with the Panthers. The Giants are just a really bad team. They got blown out by the Rams. They're bad. The Panthers really aren't playing as good as they did to start the season. They started 3-0 and now they're 3-3 after losing 3 straight. Sam Darnold is starting to play like he did with the Jets. Last week against the Vikings, he had a pretty bad game. Was able to pull off a good 2-minute drill to come back, but I don't think that they're a very good team. I'm picking the Panthers just because I think on paper with their talent, the way they've been playing, they're a better team. But in all honesty, I don't think either one of these teams are very good right now. Next, we have the Jets Patriots. The Patriots are going to win this game. The Jets are not a good team. I think the last game they played was in London against the Falcons, and they didn't do anything until the second half, and even then they didn't really play the best. But I don't think the Jets are a very good team. The Patriots had really, really good moments, in my opinion, against the Cowboys that showed that their ceiling and their potential is very high. I think they'll get better. I think Mac Jones showed a lot of good stuff last week against the Cowboys, so I think the Patriots will win. Next, we have the Chiefs Titans. I'm picking the Chiefs. I don't care that I'm a Chiefs homer, even though this game is going to be a bit of a challenge for the Chiefs defensively. I think they're going to win, but their defense did play better in the second half against Washington. They played basically perfect football in the second half. Mahomes went off in that second half. Their defense held Washington to under, I think it was under 100 yards of offense in the second half. If they don't turn the ball over, I think they'll win this game. But the big thing is they're going to have to stop Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is a beast. He had a huge game against the Bills, scoring 3 touchdowns, had almost 160 total yards of total offense. So, if the Chiefs can somehow contain Derrick Henry and do what they did in the second half in the AFC Championship game, I think they'll win this game. But I think it's going to be a challenge. I think it's going to be a close game, but I still think the Chiefs find a way to pull it out because I don't think they're going to continue to beat themselves like they do every week. Next, we have Washington against the Packers. I'm picking the Packers. Washington, while I am a fan of Taylor Heinicke, honestly, I think he has shown moments where he is very good. I don't think Washington's a very good team right now. Their defense is underwhelming. They're not playing well. They're very disappointing. And a team that was second in defense last year, I think it was, all the way down to the top 3 worst defense in football. I don't think Washington's a very good team. And the Packers, they played the Bears last week. It was a division rival. They didn't put up their best numbers offensively, but they still have Devontae Adams. Aaron Jones is really good. Dillon is a solid backup running back. Randall Cobb is making big plays for him this year. Lazard, I think, can make some good plays. MVS, same thing for him. I think Aaron Rodgers is just going to throw all over this defense. I think they're going to put up probably, 30, 40 points. Heck, I don't think this game's even close. I think they'll dominate the Washington football team. And, yeah, Washington's not good. Packers are going to win this game running away. Next, we have Falcons Dolphins. I don't want to spend much time on this one. Dolphins are a terrible team. They lost to the Jags in London. And the Falcons will probably win this game ugly, even though I do like a little bit of their offensive talent that they do have. Kyle Pitts, Calvin Ridley. I think they do have, solid pieces offensively. Maybe get one more receiver out there to help out. And then their defense, it is what it is. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's, the worst. But I don't think it's going to be enough to win a playoff game. I don't think this team is good enough to have a winning record. But the Dolphins are so bad right now. Both their offense and defenses are ranked like 28th and 29th in points per game and points per game allowed. They're trash. Dolphins are a very bad football team. Tua did have a very solid game, I think, against the Jags last week. I don't think he was the reason they lost that game. I think he played pretty well. He had, I think, a really bad interception where he just completely didn't see the receiver. There was 3 Jags in the area, but I know. I said I wasn't going to spend much time on this, and then I kind of got on a tangent, but might as well continue. I mean, Tua, came back, played a solid game, but I don't think the Dolphins are winning. The Falcons are going to win. Next, we have what I think is probably going to be a sneaky game of the week candidate, and that's the Bengals-Ravens. I think this game is going to be really close. I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan of the way that the Bengals have been playing this year. They're honestly a kicker away from being 5-1 right now, and I truly do feel that way. Their one bad game, I think, of all season was against the Bears when their offense, Joe Burrow threw 3 interceptions. That was like his worst game of the season. After that, I think he's been playing fantastic football along with the entire team. The Bengals, I think, are making steps in the right direction to be a future, playoff contending team. I really do think that. And then the Ravens, they're just dominating everybody they play right now. They didn't dominate the Colts, but that second half against the Colts, they shut out the Colts, and then they just went on a run for themselves. And then last week against the Chargers, they just absolutely dominated, shutting down one of, if not, a top 3, top 5 passing offense in football right now. So that was very impressive. I think the Ravens are a hard team to beat, and that's why I'm picking them, even though part of me really wanted to pick the Bengals, because I think this is the game for Joe Burrow to prove that he is going to be a top quarterback in the NFL. But I think this game will be close, but I have the Ravens winning this game, and probably what could be the game of the week. Next, we have the Lions-Rams. This is a revenge game for each quarterback. Jared Goff is going back to play the Rams, while Matthew Stafford is at home this week playing against his former team in the Lions. As much as this story could be cool, I don't even think this game is close. The Lions are terrible. They got obliterated by the Bengals last week. Goff is having a bad season. Even his head coach is calling him out on it. And, the entire Lions team is just bad. I've said this many times. I was on them for their toughness. I thought they were a good team. I know they were not a good team, a tough team. I think they fought hard for Dan Campbell, but I don't think Jared Goff is the answer. Jared Goff is not good. I think Sean McVay is the reason why he was even comparable in the NFL and even got to the Super Bowl. That was all Sean McVay on that one, because you see what Matthew Stafford's doing, and he's just lighting it up with that offense. And the Rams they clobbered the Giants last week. Matthew Stafford is looking great. Could possibly be an MVP favorite this year, and could possibly make a deep playoff run, even make it to the Super Bowl, because there's a lot of good teams right now who I think have a good chance of making it to the Super Bowl. I mean, the AFC is wide open. The NFC has some very tough competition at the top. But yeah, the Rams are too good. Their defense, their defense to me was playing a little bit weird, for a while there. I know they have a lot of talent, so that's why it was confusing me why their defense wasn't necessarily playing up to the potential they could. They were winning the games. They were just giving up a lot of yards. So I think the Rams win this game. Not even a question. It's stuck in a 305 slot. 305, my time slot. No one's going to be watching this game, but I still think the Rams are going to dominate the Lions. And this is probably the biggest game the Lions are going to play in for years. And it's only because it's Matthew Stafford's revenge game. If it wasn't for that, the Lions would be absolutely nothing. Next, we have the Eagles-Raiders. I don't know what to make of the Raiders. I thought they were frauds, and then all of a sudden last week they just dominated the Broncos in a divisional game. So yeah, ever since they got rid it was only one game, but they got rid of John Gruden. And I think the Raiders are playing, they're playing their hearts out, right? At least last week they played their hearts out. They're playing inspired football. Derek Carr is had a very good game last week. He's having a very good season. And then the Raiders defense has been, making really good plays. They shut down the Broncos for most of their game. The Eagles, they're not a good team. I mean, they put up 21 against the Buccaneers, but a lot of that was based off some luck and some penalties. They had one good drive. I don't like the Eagles. I really don't. I'm sure there's Eagles people out there that have high hopes for them. I don't. I think the Eagles are a very bad football team, in my opinion. But the Raiders, even coming from a Chiefs fan, I can admit that I'm liking the way Derek Carr has been playing this year. I think he's been very solid. and then you have Henry Ruggs, Darren Waller, Renfro. Oh, who else? Their running back, Josh Jacobs. They're playing very good football right now. So I don't think they're going to be a push away team this year. I still think the Chiefs are going to win that division, but I think this game or this season is going to be very good for the Raiders, especially after getting rid of Gruden. They have, they still have that distraction on them, but now that Gruden's gone, there's no more distractions, and hopefully they can just, play football and then just play to their best of their ability. So I got the Raiders beating the Eagles. Next, we have the Texans and Cardinals. This is the J.J. Watt D-Hop revenge game. DeAndre Hopkins and J.J. Watt get to play against their former team this week. Cardinals are winning by 1 million. Hopefully this isn't a trap game, because that would be the absolute worst thing. Last week the Cardinals just got obliterated. They destroyed the Browns. They're a Hail Mary away from winning by 30 in that game instead of winning by 23. But yeah, I think it'd be 23. But yeah, the Cardinals, I think, are the top team in football. They beat the Browns, who are supposed to be a legit team, but have been struggling of late. But I know injuries are there, but Baker hasn't been playing well. Their defense gives up a lot of yards, a lot of points. Texans are really bad. They got destroyed by the Colts last week. There's really nothing much to say about that team. But yeah, the Cardinals are a very good team. Kyler Murray's fun. I think they get Zach Ertz this week, so that their offensive weapons went from illegal to borderline. They deserve prison time for how many weapons they have. It's a hypothetical. Like, it is so crazy how they have AJ Green, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, Rondale Moore. Oh gosh, there are 2 running backs. James Connors is one of them. And then they have Zach Ertz coming in, and it's just like, man, this offense is getting stacked. And then they have a defense that is legit, a top 10 defense. Because in today's NFL, you don't need the number 1 defense to win. You have to have a top offense, and then maybe a top 10 to 12 defense, and that's what the Cardinals have. They have everything they have right now to win a Super Bowl. So yeah, I'm a fan of the Cardinals this year. I think right now for me, they're my favorite to win the Super Bowl, just because of the way they've been playing. They've dominated opponents. Heck, they beat the Rams convincingly. So yeah, I got the Cardinals winning this game by a lot. I don't even care what the spread is. They're probably going to win by 35. I'm probably wrong on that, but they're winning by 35. Next, we have the Bears and Buccaneers. This game is really hard for me to put into words how I think, because I like the Bears defense. I really do. They held Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, who I think have a really good offense, to basically, nothing. 24 points, less than 200 yards passing. That's not normal for the Packers. But I like their defense. They don't do anything on offense. I feel like they're scared to let Justin Fields let loose. If I were the Bears, I would literally open up the playbook, run every play, all out. So what if we throw an interception? This is his first season. I don't think they might be a playoff team, but they're going to get bounced in the wild card round if they make it, in my opinion. So they really just need to open up the playbook, let Justin Fields sling the ball out, run their fancy run plays, run their deep passing plays, run their best pass. Just let Justin Fields get into it. And I think that'll help him improve next year, because doing this, protecting him thing, I don't think is going to work, because he's not going to develop that way. And then the Buccaneers, man, they're what is there to say? Tom Brady's playing like an MVP. I mean, their defense, it's all right. Their injuries suck, but no one can run on them. So you're already taking away a part of a game. It's not done very much, but you shut down the run game. That secondary gets help. This team is going to be really hard to beat. Tom Brady's looking like an MVP. I think the Buccaneers, even though this Bears defense is tough, they'll win. It might be close, but it may not be. I'm really having a hard gauge on this game, because I like the Buccaneers offense. I'm not a fan of their defense, even though I think it is kind of solid, but it does give up a lot of big chunk plays. But yeah, I think the Buccaneers win this because they have Tom Brady. And, as a Chiefs fan, and I know Chiefs Twitter isn't a fan of Brady, but I got to admit, I'm kind of enjoying him this year, just destroying everybody. Next, we have Colts and 49ers, and this might be surprising to some people. I have the Colts winning this game. I really do. The way that the Colts have been playing, they played the Ravens really well. Their defense in the second half did give up quite a bit against the Ravens, but I don't even think the top defense in football was going to stop the Ravens in that second half on Monday Night Football. They just came out playing inspired, wanting to, play all out. Lamar Jackson literally played like an MVP in that second half. So I don't even think the best defensive football could have stopped them that week. But yeah, and then last week just shutting down the Texans. So I mean, they played tough against the Ravens, who arguably are one of the top 3 to 5 teams in football right now. And then to shut out a lesser opponent, which you expect to do, is still very good. So yeah, I think the Colts are going to win this game because the 49ers injuries and their offense hasn't necessarily been that good this year. And then their defense is good, but I don't think their defense is enough to carry a team in today's NFL to win. You know, it might be good enough to win a game, but it's not going to be enough to win a playoff game. But, I mean, with this being on Sunday Night Football, you know, primetime games have been amazing this year, but anything's possible. But personally, for me, this is going to be surprising. I have the Colts because Carson Wentz does make some silly mistakes whenever he's in the pocket. You know, I think he's one of the weirdest looking quarterbacks in the pocket. But he's been playing some very good football the last couple of weeks, and they did just get T.Y. Hilton back. So yeah, I personally think this is going to be an upset, and the Colts are going to win this game. And then for Monday Night Football, the final game of the week, we have the Saints and Seahawks. I don't know what either one of these teams are. You know, the Seahawks, their defense is bad. Their offense relied way too much on Russell Wilson. With him out last week, it showed that, you know, you can have a couple good drives, and that's about it with Geno Smith. I don't think their defense is going to be able to stop the Saints, even though for the Saints, their defense is good. But what is their offense? You know, Jameis Winston either throwing really deep passes for touchdowns or he's throwing really deep passes for interceptions. So I don't know what to make of the Saints. I really don't. They're the biggest question mark team because their defense can play well against the Packers, but then they lose to the Giants. So I'm kind of conflicted on the Saints. I really don't know what to make of them. I just know I don't like the Seahawks this year. And in the division the Seahawks play in, that's really tough. You know, I just said the 49ers are going to lose, but the 49ers I think are better than them. The Cardinals are better than them. The Rams are better than them. This division's tough. It's not going to be easy for the Seahawks the rest of the season. And the Saints, man, this has got to be the game where they prove what their identity is. They're playing a lesser defense, find things that work, and try to build on those as each team you play. So have the Saints winning this game, even though I think both of these teams have huge question marks, and I don't know what to make of either one of them.